money habit number one that's keeping so many people poor is that you're blowing your money on the 3 C's: cars, clothes, and credit. If you own a car with a car payment, it might cost you millions of dollars over the course of your investing career. I'll show you. Let's assume that you do nothing crazy. You go out and you buy this $35,000 lopsided car, and in order to purchase this car, you put down a down payment of $8,000. Now, if you go to finance this car over 60 months, well, now that means that your monthly payment to own this car is going to be right around $560 a month. So now what happens is you're going to pay this $560 a month every single month over the course of this loan. Now what you're doing is you're paying interest to finance this car that's losing value, that has a limited time span. It's a triple whammy. So now when this car eventually dies, or you want to get a new car, or what a lot of people do is when you finally finish paying off this car, you go and finance another car and another car and another car. And so people end up paying this interest game on their car forever. Most people never stop having a car payment because you just keep getting a new car. Well, what happens now is when you play this game, you lose out on the opportunity to make millions of dollars that you could have had in your pocket. I'll show you. If you took this $560 a month and you invested this money instead, that's $6,720 a year, and you got the average stock market return, which has been historically 10% a year, and you do this for 40 years. Now, instead of you owning a car that's worthless, you would own an investment portfolio that's worth just over $3.2 million. Instead, you own a car that needs an oil change. But do you want to know what's even crazier? If you kept doing this for a few more years, if you do this for 45 years, from let's just say the age of 21 to 66, well, now instead of having $3.2 million, you would have over $5.3 million in your investment account, because you stayed investing your money. Time is one of the most powerful aspects to you building your wealth. Now you're gonna say, Jaspreet, what do you want me to do? You want me to ride a bike 14 miles to work every single day? How am I supposed to do this when I have to have a car? Well, let's take a look at this. You have this car payment, but you also put down this $8,000 down payment, which you could use to go out and buy a car. Maybe not the same BMW that you bought for $35,000, even though you can't really buy that many BMWs for 35 grand. You got to downsize a little bit, but you can get a used, good working condition car for $8,000 today that will take you to and from work safely, and now you can take this money that you were paying to your car company, keep it in your pocket, and use it to build your wealth. It's not as exciting because you don't have the same car, but now you have that wealth which can pay for many cars. Not to mention the fact that most people don't see the same car payment for the next 30 or 40 years. Their car payment goes up every few years because now you go out and buy a nicer car and a nicer car and a nicer car. $560 a month right now. In 5 years, it might be $760 a month. So this amount of money that you can build is actually a whole lot higher, but I wanted to keep it conservative for the purposes of this video. This is why for so many years I've been driving around in a beat down car, even though I make good money, because I've been funneling my money back into stocks, back into buying more real estate, and back into my own business, Briefs Media, because I understand that those things are going to help build me wealth for me, my family in the future, versus my car isn't. And so I wanted to put that focus into my assets before I buy a car. Now, I will be buying a nicer car. I'm not saying you shouldn't buy a nicer car. I want you to be able to afford it first. The second C here is clothes. And do you want to know why our society loves it when broke people buy Gucci? Because if Gucci could only sell their products to the people that can afford it, that means only these people right here. If this pie represents people in America, that means only this small slice of Americans who can afford those ugly handbags will be buying it. That's not that many sales. But if they can get people who can't afford their handbags, that means all these people to buy it. That means they can sell a whole lot more stuff, and that's more sales. But that's not all. Banks also love it when you cannot afford the Gucci, because when you want it, they'll be more than happy to sell you the financing to go out and buy that same handbag. You make them rich, but you stay poor. See a trend? Which ties in nicely to the third C, which is credit. Because now if we take a look at the average American household with credit card debt, they have around $6,500 with the credit card debt today. And if you're paying 27% APR, which is what a lot of credit cards are charging you, that means that if you make the minimum monthly payments of just $150 a month, it might not seem like that big of a deal. But it's going to end up costing you more than $18,000 in interest payments, which means you're going to end up paying more than $25,000 with a small minimum monthly payment to pay off your $6,500 credit card. And unfortunately, most people, when they have this credit card balance, they're not just making the minimum monthly payments and not growing the balance, they're making the minimum monthly payments while also growing their credit card balance. Which is why, if you want to stop being poor, you want to stop being financially broke, you got to break out of the first bad money habit, which is the cars, the clothes, and the credit. Money habit number 2 is you have to stop working for small increases in your income. Now, you've probably heard me say that it's not how much money you make that matters, it's what you do with the money you make, which is 100% true. Because you can make $30,000 a year, live off of less than what you make, invest some money, and build more wealth than somebody making $500,000 a year who lives off of $600,000 a year thanks to lines of credit and loans and credit cards. So you have to spend less than what you make. But once you understand that part, because in part 1 we talked about how you can spend less, then you have to start working on growing your income. Because now, once you know how to use your money, the more money you have to invest, the wealthier you're going to be able to become. And that means you're going to have to work now to earn some more money. And unfortunately, a lot of people get stuck in this small raise game where people are working for a $2 raise or a 3% raise, a 4% raise, where it can take you a long time to see some significant growth in your income. How long is it going to take you? Think about this, to double your income. If you're making 50 grand a year, how long is it going to take you to get to $100,000 a year? Can you do it in 2 years? 5 years, 10 years. And this is where now, the sooner you can double your income, the sooner you're going to have more money to be able to invest to build your wealth. Now, this is where everybody says, well, Jaspreet, my boss is not going to double my income. And sure, they might not be able to double your income today, but this is where I want you to start thinking a little bit differently and see how you can break out of the mold. If you start wondering how you can double your income, you might start doing things a little bit differently. Maybe there is room in your company to see more excessive growth. Maybe you're in a sales position and you can figure out ways to double your income. Maybe there isn't. And maybe this means you have to look for a new company. Maybe this means you have to look for a new career. Maybe this means you're going to have to go learn a new skill. That way you have the potential to earn more money. But what I can tell you is if you put in a little bit of additional work, this might take a couple of years, it might take a few months, depending on where you are in your career. But if you take some time aside and maybe invest some money in this too, you can learn a new skill set which can give you the tools to get a new career, which can really accelerate your income. And yes, this takes more work. You might have to sacrifice some weekends, some evenings. That way you can learn this new skill, but this can give you the opportunity to maybe double your income. That way you have more money to invest. Because the key here is not to just make more money so you can spend more money. The key is to make more money so you have more money to invest. If you enjoyed this clip and you want to continue your financial education journey, I have another video that I think you'll love. All you got to do is click that button right over there. And for those of you who want to stay up to date on the top finance and business news, you can join Market Briefs, my free financial newsletter, by clicking that button below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.